Hello everyone. Ask yourself whether you can be an entrepreneur and an employer instead of being an employee. You don't have to send applications for jobs, but you can interview others for jobs in your company. Can you be an entrepreneur? Who is an entrepreneur? Let's look at Schumpeter's definition is that he is an innovator. He is able to commercially apply a scientific invention. He is a destroyer of equilibrium situations, and in him there is creative destruction that is visible. Let's take the example of Swiggy. Nandan Reddy saw an opportunity there, took the risk, paid off. Let's look at Redbus bookings. Sama saw the opportunity of making travel easier, and therefore the equilibrium was disturbed, and that brought about profitable results. Let's look at what do the definitions for an entrepreneur say. Baumol said that one must be ingenious, creative, must add to wealth, power and prestige for oneself. Dhirubhai Ambani did that. He was ingenious. He never ever permitted any obstruction, even when there were bureaucratic hassles, he tided over them, went around them, added to his wealth, added to his power and his prestige, built the Reliance empire. Mark Casson said that you must specialize in making judgmental decisions about the allocation of scarce resources. You may not have all the resources that you would like to have. PC Mustafa started off with 25,000 and sold idli and dosha batter to reach 100 crore balance sheet. Resources are scarce. Entrepreneurial resources are scarce. It's how best we manage those resources. Eternally, you must be alert. You must be able to arbitrage between markets which are dynamic and uncertain, so that they, even when they are volatile, we are able to make profits. Look at Flipkart. Bansal saw an application there, an possible opportunity there. It is a dynamic and uncertain market. It is a volatile market. Yet he seized the opportunity, took the risk, and then went forward to fight out the battle to win it. Markets are in a state of perpetual disequilibrium. Between Amazon and Flipkart, there is always the competition. And now that it is festive season, each one is offering a better deal than the other. But that's how markets function. And you need to seize the opportunity, leverage on the opportunity in this perpetual disequilibrium. We need to capture inefficiencies which exist in rival firms. Look at Mukesh Ambani. He saw that there were opportunities in the inefficiencies of his competitors, and Jio came in and crushed the market of his rivals. It's still taking time for his rivals to come back. So there are business opportunities in a disturbed market. Look at the entrepreneurs who have seized the post-COVID market for personal protection equipment or masks or gloves, which were intertemporally short. There was a demand and supply mismatch of time. Between March and a month later, they managed to seize the opportunity, make their profits. There could be interspatial differences where the technology in one could well be applied in another, and that is something which the Tatas tried to do when they went in for technology. innovation through acquisition of Range Rover, and that is important for us to understand. We could also look at what are the qualities. Do you know yourself? The first quality that you need to know. If you are taking up the challenge, Oyos Agarwal took up the challenge with very little with himself, but he had an objective and he went about doing that very successfully. Bhavish Agarwal of Ola did that. He had an objective, bring transportation to where the customer stands, and he did that. So you also have to look at a vision, have a vision. J.R.D. Tata had a vision, set up the Tata Empire. Are we pragmatic? Are we able to be analytical and profit and loss driven, figure driven? Everything ultimately boils down for an entrepreneur to the money he makes. And we need to cut our losses, make our profits, and add to our wealth. That's what makes us. Bill Gates is able to give out charity through his foundation. Azim Premji is able to give out charity because they were or are figure driven. They look to ensure that they are able to share their wealth only if they make their wealth. In this, one has to be an effective negotiator. You have to continuously negotiate, bargain, and that is important for us. Communication is important for any entrepreneur. The final quality is of being a connector. Are we able to connect the dots? Steve Jobs saw that there was an opportunity in the computer market and therefore went on to connect the dots and built his Apple empire. And that's important. So it all boils down to being innovative, thinking differently, seizing an opportunity, connecting to new knowledge. That new knowledge might come to you on reading. It might come to you when you travel. It might come to you when you see something on TV. It might come to you when you see a rural area where there is a problem which you'd like to set out to solve. And that is something which you need to radically change your approach to knowledge so that it knowledge should bring you extraordinary profits. And finally, I want to leave you with the Schumpeterian thought that a manager can be an entrepreneur. As the world is, there are big corporations. Business success today depends on the entrepreneurially or the innovatively inclined executives. This is called intrapreneurship. Within every organization, there must be entrepreneurial abilities with their executives who are able to make more profits or add value to themselves. And this is important in every organization. Look at Toyota. Managers in Toyota became entrepreneurial when they brought in so many changes, such as just in time, to cut costs, cut inventory costs. The net result is that they pushed out General Motors, an American company, from being the best seller in America and entrenched themselves as the most popular brand in America. So, whether you are a manager or you are a person who is trying to set up a business for himself, you can be an entrepreneur. Thank you. Wish you all the best.